Dear students, once again I am Mr. Vishal Shah, Assistant Professor, Krishna Institute of Pharmacy, Karad. Welcome you all to this yet another session of practical. Today we are going to discuss about the how to perform the synthesis of benzanilide from aniline. So in previous practical also we have seen how to carry out the synthesis of M-dinitrobenzene. Here we are going to perform virtually synthesis of benzanilide from aniline. So let's start our today's session. Now in the synthesis of benzanilide we are going to carry out the synthesis from aniline. So this is the chemical reaction that is involved in the synthesis of this benzanilide. So here we are going to carry out the reaction between the aniline and benzoyl chloride. Now we are familiar with the what is the meaning of benzoyl chloride. Benzoyl, as here in the spelling you can see there is a presence of O. That's why here you can say there is a presence of a COCl, and benzyl is nothing but the CH2Cl. There is a difference between the benzyl and benzoyl chloride. Benzoyl is consisting of C6H5CO, while benzyl is consisting of C6H5CH2. In this case, aniline when reacted with benzoyl chloride, which leads into the formation of benzanilide. So this is the common chemical reaction that is involved in the synthesis of benzanilide. Now this chemical reaction is known as Schotten-Baumann reaction. What is the meaning of Schotten-Baumann reaction? Generally, either phenols or aromatic amines gives this Schotten-Baumann reaction positive, where the aniline, for example, here when it is reacted with the benzoyl chloride, or you can say phenol when it is reacted with the benzoyl chloride, when amines are reacted with the benzoyl chloride, it leads into the formation of the amide functional group. Here you can see benzanilide is consisting of CONH functional group, which is known as the amide functional group. And when, if instead of aniline, that is the amine, if we use phenol that is reacted with the benzoyl chloride, which leads into the formation of the ester, means either aromatic amines or the phenols when they are reacted with the benzoyl chloride in presence of the alkali, that is the sodium hydroxide is generally used to give either the ester or the amide, then that particular reaction is known as the Schotten-Baumann reaction. Now in this case, the whatever this Schotten-Baumann reaction that we have used, benzylation of amine is carried out using the benzoyl chloride in presence of the aqueous sodium hydroxide. Now this is a very simple reaction in which benzylation proceeds very smoothly and sparingly soluble derivative usually separated as a solid. Sodium hydroxide is used in excess amount, so that further after completion of reaction benzoyl chloride reacts with the sodium hydroxide to form a sodium benzoate and sodium chloride, and which are soluble in the solution. In this way, the sodium hydroxide plays an important role to remove excess amount of benzoyl chloride from our product. Now this is the principle and chemical reaction that is involved in the synthesis of benzanilide. Next, we are going to see the mechanism involved in the synthesis of this benzanilide. Now as I told you, here we are going to carry out the addition of benzoyl chloride to the aniline. As you remember, this reaction is known as the Schotten-Baumann reaction. Now here in this case, first what happens, this carbon atom, that is the chlorine and hydrogen, they will combine with each other and they will be removed as a HCl, and due to which this carbon atom will forms a bond with this nitrogen atom, which leads into the formation of quaternary ammonium nitrogen atom. Now in this case what happens, that the whatever that particular this quaternary ammonium nitrogen that is formed, here you can see due to which there is a formation of the oxygen which is having an anionic region or which is having a negative charge. This is the first step. So, attack of this aniline or you can say benzoyl chloride will take place on this particular nitrogen atom of the aniline. So, this carbon atom will attack on this nitrogen atom, which leads into the formation of this particular compound, that is the intermediate product. Now, here nitrogen atom is having a positive charge and oxygen atom is having a negative charge. Now, to get the stability, this oxygen will transfer the electrons to this carbon atom, and due to which what happens, this chlorine is removed from this carbon atom and there will be formation of carbon double bond with the oxygen, and this carbon gets stabilized. And after this, the nitrogen atom which is having two hydrogen atom, one of the hydrogen is lost and that is combined with the chlorine, which leads into the formation of the HCl, and there will be formation of benzanilide will takes place. In this way, first the attack of benzoyl chloride will takes place on the aniline, further which leads into the formation of the intermediate product. This intermediate product on losing HCl will be converted into the benzanilide. In this way, the mechanism is occurred in the synthesis of benzanilide. This reaction, you remember that it is known as Schotten-Baumann reaction. In Schotten-Baumann reaction, we can use either amines or the phenols or hydroxyl compounds. Here, as we have used aniline, due to which there will be formation of the amide functional group takes place. If we use the phenol, we will get the esters as our product. Now, after this, we will see the what is the procedure that we are going to use during the synthesis of this particular compound, that is the benzanilide. First point, place 2.6 gram, that is the 2.5 ml of aniline and 25 ml of 10% aqueous sodium hydroxide in an iodine flask, and then add 3.5 ml of benzoyl chloride and shake vigorously for the 10 minutes. So, I request you can write down the procedure, so you can understand how to perform this particular practical by using this particular procedure when we are going to perform this virtually. Then during this reaction, what happens? Heat is evolved and benzoyl derivatives are separated as a white powder. Now, as we are performing this reaction in the iodine flask, after addition of benzoyl chloride, we are going to place a stopper. So, you have to take care that whenever you are going to carry out vigorous shaking during that 10 minutes, you have to remove the stopper continuously, so that whatever the heat that is evolved during this reaction, that is escaped in the environment. So, that we have to take care that we have to remove the stopper while performing this particular reaction. Then after that, when the reaction is complete, that is when the odor of benzoyl chloride is no longer can be detected. Once the odor of benzoyl chloride is not detected, that is the indication that our reaction is complete. We have to smell cautiously that odor of benzoyl chloride is no longer can be detected. After this, make sure that the reaction mixture is alkaline and dilute it with the help of the 10 ml of water, or even we can use excess amount of the water also. This water is used to carry out the removal of excess amount of benzoyl chloride that is present in our product. Benzoyl chloride, when reacts with the water, which leads in the formation of the sodium benzoate as well as the sodium chloride, which are soluble into our solution. Now, filter of the product with the suction on a small Buchner funnel, break up the mass if it is required, wash well with the water and the drain. Recrystallize from hot alcohol, that is the methyl spirit. Filter the hot solution through the hot water funnel or through a warm Buchner funnel. Then collect the crystals as separated and dry in the air or hot air oven. Report the yield and melting point. So, this is the procedure that we are going to use. Means what here you have to do? You have to take aniline required quantity of the aniline, to which first we are going to carry out the addition of the 25 ml of 10% sodium hydroxide. Once we have added sodium hydroxide, we have to carry out the addition of the required quantity of the benzoyl chloride. Remember, we are not going to carry out the addition of benzoyl chloride at a one time. Slowly we have to carry out the addition of the benzoyl chloride, because this reaction is quite vigorous, and to avoid any problems during this reaction, we have to carry out the benzoyl chloride addition very slowly. And once we have added benzoyl chloride, we have to carry out the shaking of the flask vigorously, so that product will be obtained. And during this shaking, we have to take one precaution, that after few seconds or few minutes, we have to remove the stopper, so that the energy that is present or energy escaped in the flask is removed in our environment. Now let us see how we are going to perform this particular practical virtually. So you can see that this is our today's virtual lab. These are the various instruments that are required for performing this particular experiment. Here just I will introduce this particular different apparatus or that are required to perform this particular experiment. Here this is known as the iodometric flask along with this particular stopper. Now whatever the chemicals that are required for performing this particular practical, here this is our aniline, then also we require the sodium hydroxide, also we will require the benzoyl chloride. Here in this beaker already I have placed the sodium hydroxide that is required. We know that 25 ml of sodium hydroxide is required. Now as you read in the procedure, the first point is that we have to carry out the addition of aniline to our iodometric flask. So here you can see that we have taken the bottle of aniline, then we are going to take this particular pipette, then we are measuring 2.5 ml of aniline with the help of this pipette, and that is to be added in our iodometric flask. Now after this also we have to carry out the addition of the 25 ml of sodium hydroxide. As I said already, we have taken this in this particular beaker, that you have to imagine. Now we are adding this 25 ml of sodium hydroxide to this particular iodometric flask. After this, we are going to carry out the addition of benzoyl chloride, that is the 3.5 ml or you can say 4.3 gram of benzoyl chloride is required for addition. So here we are going to take this pipette, measuring the 3.5 ml of quantity of this benzoyl chloride, and that we are going to carry out addition into this iodometric flask. Once we have added this particular benzoyl chloride, we have to place the stopper on this particular iodometric flask, and we have to carry out the vigorous shaking. Now during this particular shaking, we have to remember that we have to remove this stopper, so that whatever the amount of energy that is eliminated, that is to be escaped in the environment. We have to perform this shaking for 10 minutes, and after 10 minutes what happens, the benzoyl derivative, that is the benzanilide, is separated as a white powder. In this way white crystals of benzanilides are obtained. Now once we will get this particular crystals of the benzanilide, next point is that we have to carry out the addition of 10 ml of water. So we will remove this particular stopper. Let us assume that water is placed in this beaker, and we are going to carry out the addition of the water. So that what happens, whatever the benzoyl chloride that is remained in our solution, that is not reacted, it will be solubilized, and our product will be free from the benzoyl chloride. In this way we have synthesized this particular product. Then next step that we are going to perform is recrystallization. For that purpose we are going to use a methylated spirit. Here you can see that we have taken this particular product for the recrystallization. Here we are going to employ the recrystallization to carry out the purification of our product. For this purpose we are going to utilize hot alcohol, or you can say methylated spirit, to carry out the recrystallization. Now, recrystallization is carried out for the purification of the product. In this case, we are going to use the solvent in such a way that our product is soluble in hot condition while it is insoluble in the cold condition. So that what happens, when we add our product to our solvent, whatever the soluble impurities are there, the soluble impurities are solubilized in our solvent. As our product is insoluble in cold condition, product will remain as it is, and soluble impurities are separated from our product. Now, once we will heat the solution, our product is also get solubilized, and in hot condition we are going to carry out the filtration, so that the insoluble impurities will remain in the filter paper, so that it is separated from the product. Now, our beaker is consisting of soluble impurities as well as the product, because it is solubilized, and once we will cool that solution, again our product is reprecipitated, and it is in this way separated from the insoluble impurities. In this way we are going to perform this recrystallization. So, let us see how this can be done in virtual case. Here you are going to see that we are going to place this particular burner, so that heating of that particular solution is carried out. Once our solution becomes hot, our product gets solubilized and it is converted into the liquid. Now, once solution is boiled, we are going to carry out this stop heating. Then we are going to carry out the filtration in a hot condition, so that what happens, it is separated from the insoluble impurities. And once our beaker is consisting of the hot solution, once we will cool this particular solution, there will be formation or the reprecipitation of the product is carried out. In this way we can perform the recrystallization, so that we will get the purified product. Now, next step after recrystallization, that we have to calculate, or we have to measure the melting point of this particular product after drying of the product. Now, maybe we will dry that particular product in the air, or also we can dry it in the oven. So, we will dry that particular product at 40 degrees Celsius in the oven. After complete drying of that particular product, we are going to carry out the determination of melting point of that particular product. So, this is the assembly, that is this is your Thales tube that is used for the measurement of the melting point, which is consisting of liquid paraffin as a oil. Remember, liquid paraffin is used because it is having the more boiling point, which is approximately more than all other organic compounds. Now, here one precaution that we have to take, that while heating we have to carry out the heating at the side arm of this particular Thales tube, so that directly our product is not get heated and we will get the correct melting point. So, once we have determined the melting point, next step is to perform the calculations. Now, this is our normal reaction, where we have synthesized benzanilide from the aniline. Now, as you remember, we are going to carry out the determination of molecular formula of these particular compounds. So, aniline is having the molecular formula C6H7N. 6 carbon atoms from this benzene ring, then 5 hydrogen atoms that are present in the benzene ring, because we know when there is a substitution, here hydrogen is not present, because this N will replace the hydrogen that is present over here. So, 5 hydrogen atoms from ring and 2 hydrogen atoms from this NH2, total 7 and 1 nitrogen. Similarly, we can calculate the molecular formula of this benzanilide, where it is C12H, we can count 5, H are also 11 and 2 O4. So, if we use, then our molecular formula, when it is converted into the molecular weight, it becomes 93 and 197. Here in this case we have used 2.6 gram of aniline, and means what is the meaning of this? if we use 93 gram of aniline, it is converted into 197 gram of benzanilide. So that here if we use 2.6 gram of aniline, how much quantity of benzanilide that we are going to get? So by cross multiplication, X is equal to 197 into 2.6 divided by 93, that is equal to 5.5 gram. So here we will get the 5.5 gram as a practical yield. Our theoretical yield we have calculated it as a 5.5 gram. Then practical yield, suppose we are getting 4.8 gram. So that percentage yield is calculated by using formula practical yield divided by theoretical yield into 100. So 4.8 divided by 5.5 into 100, that is equal to 87% weight by weight. So this is the result. Theoretical yield 5.5 gram, practical yield is 4.8 gram, then percentage yield 87% weight by weight, and melting point, suppose we have got the 165 degrees Celsius. In this way we are going to perform the synthesis of the benzanilide from the aniline. So this is about our result. Thank you. So I request you, if you like this particular video, then you can share with your friends. Also you can subscribe to my YouTube channel to get more videos related to the theory as well as the practical of pharmaceutical organic chemistry. Thank you very much.